No mai, haere mai. Welcome to 3 News. ACT Party leader David Seymour says there's no need for a ban on swastikas because the symbols most New Zealanders are really intimidated by are gang patches. That's despite the Prime Minister telling 3 News yesterday he was open to...
Because you probably weren't aware, Chewy, the mongrel mob have caused far more harm over the last 100 years than any kind of Nazi. You know, what have the Nazis really done compared to the mongrel mob? The mongrel mob, they're the real danger. The real danger indeed.
Ban on Nazi symbols and salutes. Here's senior political correspondent Jenna Lynch.
The mongrel mob has many a cry, including a phrase adopted and adapted from Nazi Germany. Gang members are facing down the gang patch ban, which comes into force in 3 weeks.
That's been more around intimidation.
But David Seymour argues there's no such intimidation when it comes to Nazi slogans and symbols.
Most people would say that anyone with any vague knowledge of history is just a complete idiot.
So what he's saying is the mongrel mob can take their mongrel mob patch off and put on a swastika and it won't be intimidating at all. That's literally what he's saying. Unstitch the mongrel mob patch, put on a swastika, walk around the streets of whatever town or city they live in, shouting Zig Heil at people, and that won't be intimidating at all. This is the actual argument that this man is making.
It's one of those symbols, and so I think there's a difference there. Whereas people are genuinely intimidated by seeing certain gang patches and symbols.
Swastikas and the term Zig Heil have been used by the mongrel mob for decades, though gang leaders had said the use of the term would be dumped following the March 15 terror attacks.
Oh my gosh, not like a gang being community orientated. Imagine that, Chewy. That can't happen. Some compassion there from a gang, surely not.
The symbolism has also been propagated by far-right white supremacist groups across the world. It led to a public ban of Nazi symbolism in Australia.
And they're not intimidating at all, are they, Chewy? Those far-right Nazi groups around Christchurch and other parts of New Zealand.
This year, something the Prime Minister told 3 News he's open to following mongrel mob members chanting it at a tangi yesterday.
It's something we considered here because there was a lot of that going on within the session today.
Yeah, well, we're up for those conversations.
David Seymour disagrees.
Well, my view is I hate those symbols and salutes, but I quite like knowing who the idiots in society are. And if they're prepared to self-identify like that, I think that's actually helpful to everyone.
Okay. Do we really need to show them what comes next? The next question. Self-identifying more. You mean like if a gang member was wearing a patch? Like, honestly, the argument he just made, look, here's 2 things. The argument he just made for keeping people wearing Nazi symbols is the same argument that lots of people talk about for wearing gang patches. And let me say one more thing that I've just thought of, Chewy. In New Zealand, when white people use Nazi symbology and slogans, no problems as well. But when the brown people start to, I'll use that word again, co-opt it, all of a sudden Luxon's getting on his high horse going, well, the mongrel mob are doing it now, so maybe we should think about banning it. Why didn't he think about banning it when all those white people were using it in their far-right groups? It just seems a little bit coincidental to me. This has got about 15 seconds. I'll play it again, then I'll shut up and you can unleash.
He's also questioning the need.
What do you achieve? I mean, you talk about a tiny minority of incredibly stupid people. If they're prepared to self-identify...
That's been our argument.
And practicality.
I think you'd probably run into all sorts of Bill of Rights issues.
Bill of Rights issues the government had no problem legislating over for its ban on gang patches.
Exactly, Gina.
Thank you.
There you go, Chewy. I'm out,
Gina.
you're in.
What an absolute twat. First of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about why the mongrel mob use Nazi imagery and shout Sieg fucking Heil and all of that sort of stuff. When these gangs came around, the authority figures that they were butting into were people that had gone and fought the Nazis in Europe. And they were cast out of society to become outlaws. And the most offensive thing that they thought they could show to these authority figures is an utter disrespect of what they went and fought and died for. So that's why they co-opted the swastika and Sieg fucking Heil. You need to understand these things to try and combat them. Does Luxon understand that? Clearly no. Does Seymour understand that? I don't think so. For all of his talking about understanding history, the man clearly doesn't. And I love how his argument for not banning the swastika, for some reason, ran head fucking first into the asshole of the defense for getting rid of gang patches. Like, you couldn't hold a coherent position on that. Like, I'm personally of the view the only place in New Zealand for the swastika is in museums pointing out that the Nazis were bad. Let's not fucking do this again. The only realistic reason for owning a swastika for anyone is that it was captured from its previous owner in battle. I'd be fine if we ban the swastika, like some Australian states have done. Our society is not worse off. But will the mongrel mob give a shit? No, because famously, that's what outlaw gangs are about. Not giving a shit what you think. And you're quite right, Pat. Maybe they'll banned one of our symbols. We'll just use a different one. The intimidation is not the symbol.
Mm.
It's the organization or the person wearing it. Like, if the mongrel mob decided tomorrow to adopt the symbol of Winnie the fucking Pooh and have that all over their gear and tattooed on their faces and still carry on doing the same shit that the mongrel mob does, guess what? Winnie the Pooh is now intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, these guys do not understand that. Ban the swastika because there is absolutely no positive effect for having the swastika in our society for any reason apart from being in a fucking museum or a history book. That's it.
Very good.
Why is Seymour defending the right for anyone to run a swastika up a flagpole? That seems to be his position. Is it a friend of his? A donor really likes doing it on weekends? Who the fuck knows? But he can't hold a consistent position. He wants to be. It's always this. He tries to be a libertarian, but he also tries to be a right-wing reactionary where the answer is to ban everything. And he can't stay in one lane.